What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is my first video on this channel, so be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Just show your boys some love. I'm gonna be posting more videos like this about the Saints and maybe Pelicans and some other things, weekly. So go ahead and give this video a like and help your boy out. So today we're gonna be looking into Drew Brees, and if he were to re-sign with the Saints, how that could potentially impact the Saints' future moving forward. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm gonna just dive right in with this. I absolutely love Drew Brees. I know some people might assume I'm a Drew Brees hater or something like that. But just on a surface level, he's a Hall of Famer. Hands down, the Saints probably won't ever see another quarterback his caliber anytime soon, unless they're really, really lucky. He holds the majority of the all-time passing records. But over the past couple seasons, we have seen tangible physical decline, specifically with his arm strength. When we look at quarterbacks in this day and age in the NFL, there's a trend that's happening, and it's obvious why it's happening. More successful starting quarterbacks are becoming mobile quarterbacks, not necessarily scramblers, but they can get out of the pocket. You could look at guys like Jared Allen, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. I could go on and on and on, just from average Baker Mayfield, like average quarterbacks, to above average quarterbacks, like your top 10 guys, they are somewhat mobile. And one of the biggest reasons I believe this trend is changing in the NFL is because defensive ends are coming out faster. They're coming out smaller. Defensive tackles, you look at Aaron Donald, are coming into the league faster, faster linebackers. Blitz packages are more exotic. More people are running, more defensive backs and defensive back blitzes and stuff. So you have to have a mobile quarterback. Not only that, just looking at Drew Brees' arm strength, first and foremost, when you look at the Saints personnel throughout Drew's whole tenure here, Drew Brees has always been more successful with a big receiving threat. I'm talking the likes of Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham, Michael Thomas. All of those guys, his leading receivers throughout his team. Even Antonio Gates. I believe it was, I want to say 2005. Drew Brees had his breakout year. Antonio Gates put up 1,100 yards. Drew Brees has always done better throwing the ball to bigger targets. But in order for those bigger targets to not be doubled as much, they have to have safety attention over the top. Again, you look at somebody like Jimmy Graham, he had Brandon Cooks going over the top. And even though Drew Brees' arm still wasn't as good as it was, like I'm going to say maybe between 2009 and 2013-ish, he was still able to get the ball where he needed to get it with Brandon Cooks. The same goes with Marcus Colston. He had Robert Meacham going over the top. He had Devery Henderson going over the top. So those safeties had to respect that deep receiver, and that opened up the seams and that opened up things over the middle for everybody else. Now we're in a situation where Drew Brees just simply cannot push the ball down the field. It almost seems like it's an automatic interception when Drew Brees goes deep these days. I mean, there were a couple times this year where we got lucky and he didn't throw an interception, but that arm strength is key, and honestly, he just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have it anymore. I know a lot of people make a big argument about the lack of a number 2 receiver with the Saints, but honestly, if the truth be told, even going back to the 2009 season and around 2011, the Saints never really had a number two. Like, okay, this is if Coastal's out, this person is gonna light up the defense. The Saints never really had that. That's not really how the Saints offense works. If you look at this year in particular, Alvin Kamara put up 700 yards out of the backfield. You're looking at another 700 from Jared Cook. I believe between Taysom Hill and Josh Hill, you're looking at about 500 yards receiving right there. Just between those guys, that's 2,000 yards of receiving outside of Michael Thomas. A number two threat would be nice, but I think our number one receiver would be more effective if people respected if they respected downfield, if they respected the receiver over the top. Now we saw this last playoff game with Deontay Harris. He has the skills to get down the field and to take the top off the defense. He has it. It's there. It's 100% there. But does Drew Brees have the arm strength to get it there? Now, if Drew Brees did, I don't think we'll be having this discussion about the number two guy. Is their number two receiver available? Because right now, even if we were to get somebody like an AJ Green or, God forbid, like a Antonio Brown or something, there's no way in the world Drew Brees. I mean, it really wouldn't make much sense because he wouldn't be able to consistently get the ball down the field when he needs to do it. So there's that. Also, we have to look at something very, very important in this whole conversation. It's the salary cap. Right now, if it was up to me, I would just let Drew walk. I mean, we're in a situation right now where we have Alvin Kamara is going to be looking to get paid. Marshawn Lattimore is going to be looking to get paid. Ryan Ramczyk is going to be looking to get paid. Marcus Williams is going to be looking to get paid. This is a critical situation for the future of our team. And Drew Brees is not re-signing on a discount. We're looking minimum. A bargain for us re-signing Drew Brees would probably have him come in at $30 million for 1 year. And honestly, I don't think right now I don't think we have the luxury to give Drew $30 million and basically cross our fingers with Taysom Hill, because if you give Drew 30, ain't no way in hell you're re-signing Teddy Bridgewater at all. We just don't have the money for it. And we see how important the difference, how important the difference of an extra million or two is when it comes to Mark Ingram. We were about $1.5 million off from retaining Mark Ingram, and we see how all of that stuff benefited the Ravens. So every single penny is important. And if we were able to, let's say, make Teddy come in, try to convince Teddy to come in between 22 to 25 million on a 2-year prove it type deal, and he gets paid after he proves that he's the guy, and we could take that extra $8 million that we would have left over, we could give $4 million to Taysom. And at $4 million for a backup quarterback, we basically paying him to be slash anyway. $4 million, and that leaves another $4 million that we could potentially use to bring in another veteran wide receiver or a veteran defensive back. Or even we can use that money to go towards Janoris Jenkins' restructure situation. So that's very, very, very important. I don't think right now, if we were to win the Super Bowl, it would have happened last year. I think last year was our year. But right now, I don't think we can afford to continue to, kick the can down the road and mortgage our future based off of Drew Brees. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Even though Drew Brees has done an excellent job during the regular season, in the postseason, I mean, of course, outside of the no call, I mean, he has been pedestrian, especially when it counts, like in the big games. So there's that. Now, my question to you is, do you believe if the Saints were to re-sign Drew Brees, if it would hold the franchise back? Let me know in the comments down below if you think, yeah, like it could potentially hold us back financially. It could, we may end up retaining Drew Brees and losing Taysom and Teddy Bridgewater, or it could be a situation where, we just, let Drew walk and have a quarterback competition between Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill, and possibly draft a guy like Jalen Hurts or Jake Fromm and put them into the mix. It could be a situation like that, and we can keep the core team in place. That way, if we're not playing, 5-star quarterback play, we have playmakers everywhere else. So let me know what you think in the comments. In my opinion, me knowing the Saints the way I know the Saints, I think they're gonna still bring him back. It just depends if he's willing to play ball. I think they want him back. If he signs for something like, I'm gonna say maybe another $25 million prove it deal, and if there's a way we can put some voodoo on Teddy Bridgewater to have him stay for another 7 to 8 million, and we can spend another 3 or 4 million on Taysom, then hey, everything works. Everything will work. That'll be the perfect scenario. But ideally, given that the majority of our other playmakers are entering into their prime at this point, I think it's best to just let Drew walk. He's 41. Taysom Hill isn't a spring chicken at all either. I think he's going to be 29 or 30 at the start of next year. Right now, Teddy's the youngest quarterback on the roster, and if we could potentially bring in like one of those day 2 quarterbacks out of the draft, or even bring in a guy like maybe like a Derek Carr to compete, Marcus Mariota to compete, even Andy Dalton. He showed flashes at time. I still think he's trash, but still, there's a quarterback that can take this team to the playoffs and go deep. Kind of like the Ryan Tannehill situation. There's a quarterback out there that could possibly do that. And I don't think we should have to spend upwards of $35 $40 million in order to make that happen. So that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Again, this is my first go at this. I did it podcast style. I'm getting this whole video situation together, so bear with me till I get all that stuff straight. Outside of that, thanks for watching. Who dat? God bless.